Oh,
we've been talking for 10 minutes with.
oh my gosh.
We've been talking for 10 minutes with no live, so that was a good prep. Geesh, guys, I never hit the second button. There's a double button here. I double pushed.
It's the fail safe.
I don't even know where to start now.
You have to have two keys to turn it at the same time.
I hit the button. Okay, there's a squatch in here right now preventing me from showing you all this.
It followed you home so
gosh.
that you couldn't talk about it.
Oh, the height. Yeah, I'm wondering why the chat's not going. That's the only reason I realized it. I went, wow, no one called me an idiot yet. So, well, now you can. Okay, hold tight. Let's run the original clip that I opened with that nobody saw. I looked at the count. I was looking like, how many people got it? It only looks like I only got 5. So, okay, let me run this, guys. I'm an idiot. Here you go.
Beaver dam, and there was bushes growing all over it, and when we hit those bushes, mosquitoes come out of there, and so we were like running to get out of this crap. And we got onto the main land again, and people were spraying.
I just saw something move. I just saw something move back there. I think it was like a fox or something.
Wow.
It was right by that dead log, just on the other side of
That's
that.
neat.
See that fallen log?
Yeah.
From here to that distance, same distance back, it went across, heading our way.
It'd be neat if you shot out across the trail.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? So anyway, that's what I am totally derailed. I don't know what order I went into. We had a whole back and forth, and it was nice, and nobody saw it. Okay, so I opened with that, and then I brought Brian on, and I basically said, this is why we're here tonight. Man, I hate repeating. This is so awful. I'm editing chapter 9. You saw Brian and I go out in chapter 8, and we're at an area on the other side of the river where I got to be more enthusiastic. We're at an area on the other side of the river where we were kayaking, canoeing up, and I heard 3 steps. I heard palm, step, step. So, in chapter 9, which I'm editing now, we went back to the other side and we wanted to explore, because the whole thing of what I do is go to the other side. The other thing I do is, you all know that I don't stop for footprint pareidolia, and I don't shoot anymore blob squatches to the point where I'm finding them in post-production and running with them. I've tried to clean that up. In this case, what is different in this case is I saw this move. So when you see the oval, I'll bring back the oval up one more time. When you see this oval happen,
Beaver dam, to get out of this.
Right about in there, I saw something move. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? I got something in brand up. Do I have an image up? No, I don't.
Yeah, you've got me standing between the trees somehow.
No,
looks like
that.
It's a video that's a YouTube page or something is up. There you go. We're back.
You know what they did is they okay, they crossed over. They switched positions on them.
And people
right here, you all can see this, right? You can see this, Brian?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I just paused the video.
You threw me off when you said y'all.
Okay. Right before this movement, I see something move, probably because you're talking. I think right about here is where I saw something move through the shadow, and it covered that whole shadow distance of about 30 feet. So from the tree, left to the tree, all the way to where the dark shadow in the woods ends. I see something cover that distance on the ground.
And heard it, right?
No, I didn't hear it. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. I waited for you to finish talking before I call it. And I try to get better calling stuff.
That was polite.
I won't do that the next time because I lost my spot.
Yeah, I'll forgive you for the interruption next time.
And people were spraying.
I just saw something move back there. I think it was like a fox or something.
Wow.
It was right by that dead log, just on the other side of
That's
that.
neat.
See that fallen log?
Yeah.
From here to that distance, same distance back, it went across, heading our way.
Okay, meaning it was going to cross the trail in front of us.
I would have been really happy just to see a fox. That would have been great.
Yeah, I had all of these. I totally lost the. Oh, here it is. Target full frame. So here's a still frame of the area. In editing, as I'm editing chapter 9, again, I saw something move exactly. If you split this oval down in half, long ways, okay, do a slice long ways, left and right. In the shadow area, something moved from literally the beginning of the oval all the way to like just past center of the oval where there's a little white stick sticking up, right? That's where I saw it stop. Now, if you look up from that white stick between those two trees, I saw this in post-production. So that's what was freaking me out is I saw something move, I saw it stop, and then I'm seeing this. And it just didn't look like a palm to me. And matter of fact, I have different shots of it more behind the tree and then more out. And that could be my camera weighing back and forth and a parallax situation happening. But that's where we're at. So that's kind of where we are. And there's you standing. I got ahead of myself. Here's you standing where I think I see it. I don't know if you all can see the height difference. Brian's 6'4". So with that said, so Brian, let me go to you posted these clips on your site. They're private. So let me try to bring up that. So I'm going to go to present screen and we're going to run, I hope. Trying to figure out which one's yours now. Oh, I got to stop screen. Okay, now I got to present screen, share screen. Now I got to go to Chrome tab and I'm going to go to part 1, which I think is this one. We see that? Yeah.
Yep.
We see that. I'm going to hit play and it's 14 minutes. I'm going to let this run.
Okay, so I've been snooping around here for about an hour, and I'm pretty well satisfied with my conclusion. Of course, it's just a theory, but I'm going to try and walk you through a little recreation or reenactment of us coming down the trail on the day in question when we recorded the artifact. Now, right here is my first landmark. It's a log with 2 smaller pieces of the same trunk maybe, or large branches. Anyway, it's laying next to the trail. So I'm going to continue moving forward. We're walking down the trail. You're going to start seeing the tripod come into view. If this light doesn't wash me out, I'm walking right into the sun. Okay, so there's the tripod. Trying to keep the camera out of the direct light. Okay, so here's our second landmark. We have 1, 2, 3 small trees next to one large tree. We're going to come around the corner and hear something move. As we look over, we are going to see this anomaly. Now I see it through the camera. I'm going to try to slowly zoom in on it. I believe that's what it is, right there.
And that's actually the wrong anomaly.
What's crazy is that it almost looks like a conical head, rounded shoulders, no neck, eyes that are literally almost blinking as the wind gently moves the palm fronds in front of it. That is really weird. Okay, could that be the same thing we saw under better lighting? I don't know for sure, but it's the only thing that even somewhat resembles what we saw in this area. I don't know if it's the same thing or not, to be honest with you.
Okay, let's go to right here and let's explain what's going on here.
Okay, so as I came around the trees, I'm looking into the questionable area, and I don't immediately see what I expected to see, which was that silhouette. It should be directly in front of me where I'm facing now, where those 3 trees are. There's 2 trees in the front, and there's one a few feet to the rear, but it's not there. Well, then through the viewfinder, that second head-shaped leaf caught my eye, especially because the wind was just enough. There was just enough of a breeze to kind of flicker the ends of another leaf in front of it, and it almost looked like eyes blinking. It was creepy enough where I had to look up over the camera to see what I was actually looking at, and that's what drew me away. I didn't see what I thought I would see in the original spot, so I started looking around to see if there was anything else that even remotely resembled what we might have seen, and that was the closest I could come to anything.
Okay, hold on there, Brian. Ron is telling me there's a very bad echo. Are you all getting an echo too? Is everybody else getting an echo? Put a 1 in the chat if there's an echo. And Brian, check to make sure you don't have another device on YouTube or anything, do you?
No, I'm in a room with just my phone right now.
It could be me then, because I do have 2 YouTube channels up, not this one. Everybody else, is this clear so far, audio-wise? Patrick Vaughn says no. The only thing I can think of, because I'm playing off YouTube.
Is it both of us or just one of us?
Is it Matt or is it Brian? Sorry, guys. Bobby doesn't have an echo. Sandra doesn't have an echo. Okay. Okay, all we can do is go on. Anyway. So what I think also we noticed, Brian, is that the anomaly we realized is really dead center. But you broke this down with the 3 trees just off to the right of center.
Right. Because that's the only thing I could see that, like I said, when I walked in and looked at those 3 trees that should have been, that's where it should have been dead center. There was nothing there. And so then the other shape caught my eye, and I thought, well, that kind of looks like a head and shoulders, and so that's kind of what I focused on, because it was the only thing that even slightly resembled, the silhouette we had seen in the video.
Okay, so we'll continue running the tape, but for everybody listening, the target area is actually the 3 trees almost dead center. If you draw dead center's quadrant, is just to the left of center. What Brian starts pointing to is to the right of center, where you have this real faint 2 trees in the background next to a thicker palm, and he sees what he thinks is a figure on that tree. But really, the target is the 3 trees straight ahead.
And if you look at the original video, you can actually see this head silhouetted also. But this one is easy to explain away.
Okay. So, boy, this is crazy to figure out which one I'm playing. I got too many tabs.
What I am noticing right up here, trying to do this where it's not going to blow the focus out of the camera, but right here is that what was a golden canopy of leaves in the light that we had. There is a tree with a little bit of lichen or something on it that is white. And I use that as a landmark in the picture. But I honestly cannot exactly recreate what happened, what we saw, and where it is.
This is where I'm confused, because I looked there expecting to see a silhouette, and there was nothing.
The golden canopy was coming across here. There's the tree with the white spot that you can see, the lichen or whatever that is. There are the 2 trees that were behind the artifact. There's the large palm. I hate I keep throwing the focus off, but it's the only way I got right now. And that right there, straight up from my finger, appears to be a head.
And it's actually 2 inches to the left of the gap of the 2 bigger trees.
Right.
So
But I don't
we're off
know
on
if
this.
it's what we saw. I really don't.
And right now there is no figure there. And Brian, that's the right gap, by the way, where you're at right now.
Walking through these hog ruts.
Right there is the gap. Okay? And the photos we're going to show later, it's there like that, real tight. And I said you needed to be farther to the right. There's the gap you explored right there.
All it takes is just a
but you opened it up,
angle,
and there was still nothing there. So that just answered our question.
So I've got to move back over here.
Yeah, there it is, face on right there.
Arch branch right there is what we're seeing.
It's actually to the far left of the frame, right?
Yes. What we saw, yes.
But I just don't know if that's...
The huge palm leaf in the center is what's forming the other head and shoulders that
I can come up with,
that I picked up on from a distance.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to look for any excuse to debunk or explain away anything extraordinary that I think I have seen or heard. So I'm really stretching it here. But again, I'm going to walk a little closer.
The far left of the frame right now is where it was, beside that black tree.
Yes.
It went out of frame. As you can see, there's nothing there.
That's it right there.
And that arched leaf
right there
formed the head of the second.
That's my finger. Right there. That arch branch.
Mystery head, or whatever you want to call it.
I can come like what seemed to be in the background here.
Yeah, we're still technically off target right now.
Carry you around. and let you see what I was seeing when I walked.
I was just trying to find
here.
something that
Of what it could be.
there
Yeah.
is
right.
No, this is good. I mean,
a lot of
look,
hog
it's
sign,
not perfect,
a
but
lot of hog wallowing.
the effort is
rutting.
definitely there. You're at the
As we come
location.
around this
You're
tree,
doing a walk around.
I'm going to back it
Well,
out here.
if nothing else, it
Kind of see a
completely
little better.
explains
I'm
the
gonna swoop
second
you
head
down
that was in the original video.
into here. You can see in the background there's a clearing,
Yes.
an opening with a well-used game trail, but I'm guessing it's only hogs that run through there because the branches are awful low and there's sticks that haven't been disturbed. So I'm guessing they just lower their head and run down through there. Now, if I come over here, I'm going to back out a little bit toward the road without trying to get the sun at my back here toward the trail.
I was being a little cautious there because I had about 100 yards from there on the trail coming in, I had seen a water moccasin.
Now again, this is, I don't know how well this shows up on camera, but this is really rutted up and holy down here. And I don't mean sacred. So if the camera suddenly plunges into the leaves, that's probably what happened. There's a nice little water reservoir here. Nice if you don't mind drinking that kind of stuff. But we're moving into this little open area. And this is what I find intriguing. I mean, obviously a lot of hog sign, again. And I'm trying to find exactly where so it would have been right in this area. And I know that's not helping you much as far as seeing. There is an area that's kind of walled out. You know, could it be something stomping around, scooting their feet around? Maybe. But
and you look for prints right at that area, right?
I can
yes,
prove differently.
yes, I did.
I'm going to say it's hog. So I'm going to walk on around.
It looks like where the trees were, it actually went up a couple feet.
It did. It did right at the base of the palm.
Right.
Being mindful of snakes. I've already seen one today.
And I'm going to show everybody something in a minute
just
where
a nice
it's
little
way down.
Open area. Perfect for hammock camping if you're into that kind of thing. It's absolutely beautiful. But this is the area that's behind where we saw the artifact. And I know it's not helping you guys much because the foliage is very thick.
Yeah, you can't see far at all.
And
I don't even know where you're at.
Of Florida lowlands. Okay, you get into the swamps and you get into the lowlands and anything could be out here. Anybody that's on the move trying to find something is at a severe disadvantage because all the hunted party would have to do is basically stay still. And within 20 feet, 30 feet at the most, you would be unable to detect anything that wasn't silhouetted from its background.
I agree with that.
I mean, right there is the trail, is a well-defined trail. And I'm not 10 yards off of it. So it kind of gives you an idea of what we're up against down here. Trying to find any kind of animal, really. And unless you just snoop up you know, slip up on them by happenstance, you know, you're not even going to see hogs. And they are just infesting this place. There's so many hogs, so many deer. The deer tracks are just incredible, but you just don't see it. Now I'm going to lift you up as high as I can, and maybe through that small oak tree up there, behind there, you can see the opening.
You can see the trail. It's that little highlighted area.
That's a trail
right there.
Now, that tree that's right there is the one from the other side that I was telling you had the golden archway over this entire area. And we're looking at the artifact area from the side here.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, you're almost standing in it. Yeah.
So
right.
I don't know what to call it. I mean, I'm like everybody else. I would love to get a full face view of this thing that we are believing that we believe is out here. But I can't say something is something when in my mind it still might be nothing. And if you don't have something, you got nothing. It's got to be definite, or it's definitely indefinite.
Well said.
Well, thank you.
So that's what I got. I'm going to get you a couple of shots of me standing next to the area, so you can kind of get an idea.
These shots are amazing.
Of a figure back there.
Because they even startled me what you look like in that environment.
And then I guess I'll be packing up and heading back to the truck. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, you did an awesome job with that, because like I said, other than zeroing in on the wrong 3 trees, and that would be really easy to do. Because we were there, started at 8, we're about hour and a half in. So it would have put us about 9:30. And you said you went back this time and got there around 10:30?
Yeah, probably 10:30.
Okay, that's still fairly close. I mean, I think if we looked at my video of the original coming up in the shadows and yours standing there, they're going to be almost identical. Except we had an overcast that wasn't so bright.
Right.
And that's where the difference is coming in. So, and that's real important when I get to the end, because half of me says I just debunked it, and the other half says I don't know, but still, and I know, I don't know is nothing. But it's a good exercise to go through. It's good for if someone hasn't tortured themselves with this yet, doing something similar. I know Wizard's in there. He does it all the time. I haven't had the opportunity to really go have a reason, really. I mean, because most of the time we're in the woods looking and we're doing our thing, but nothing startled me where I needed to do a reenactment. So that's what was so cool with this. So I'm going to take that one out of the stream. I thought I did. Okay, take that one out of the stream. What is this one? Let me pop this one in for a second. I can't remember what it is.
Across the trail.
Oh, this is the original one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
So let me run the original. Now that you had that, let me just, it's very short. It's 20 seconds.
Beaver dam.
There are no shadows.
And
We had
bushes
overcast.
growing all over it, and when we hit those bushes,
You had very hard shadows.
mosquitoes come out of there.
Right,
So we
because
were like
when I was filming,
to get out of this
going the
crap.
same direction, it was
We
almost
got onto
washing
main land again.
the whole camera out
And
with the sunlight.
people were spraying.
I just saw something move. I just saw something move back there. I think it was like
Now, see, you can see
a fox
right
or
in the
something.
middle of the screen. You could see
It was right by that dead log. Just
the head that I pointed out. It's like straight up from where your finger is.
Yeah. And it's really to the left. And I can still see what we're looking for to the left between the other trees under the arch. And it's there right now. So my reasoning is that I saw it earlier run would fit that narrative. We'll go from there.
just on the other side of
That's
that.
neat.
See that fallen log?
Yeah.
From here to that distance, same distance back, it went across, heading our way.
It's just so weird because I'm just describing exactly where it's currently standing. And that's just bizarre to me. So let me present screen.
Well, that all played into the part that made it intriguing enough to go investigate.
What?
The fact that you had seen it and you
Oh,
basically
right.
pointed to it and didn't realize it.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get lasered off my feet, right? I mean, the guy's probably going, oh shit, because I'm going, yeah, it was right over there, and I'm pointing dead at exactly what I'm seeing standing. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah, we're lucky we're still alive. Okay, let me run this. There's a little tip. Brian is standing dead center of the screen. Okay, see the two trees over his right shoulder? That is what we're looking for. That is actually the area. He thinks it's the area off to the right by about 15 feet straight up between the other two trees in the background where you see like a conical head, but it's really a palm. He went back there and debunked that. We know that's a palm now. But when we were looking at it, we were going, oh, it could be two, could be two. But we don't see the one that's standing right behind Brian 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But I just wanted to show you that when you get to that part. And it shows you the terrain. I did not know it dropped. I did not know it drops like 3-4 feet. That was crazy.
Okay, I'm going to let you look at that for a few minutes, a few seconds.
So the better alignment would be the two trees that are dead center. Brian really should be to his right about 4 feet to open up that spread, because that's where we saw the anomaly. Dead center between those two trees with a bigger gap. So he needs
to the right with the camera.
To the right with the camera, correct.
Get this pointer ready.
But watch how you go in there and it drops. I did not even know it dropped like that, because you become very small.
And I will point everything out for you. But I just wanted to give you a few seconds of screen time to be able to.
It's also interesting how that bright blue shirt I had on starts to blend in with the background as soon as I get into the shadows.
What I'm talking about on this whole thing. So I'm going to walk out here. I'm going to walk out and I'm going to use this pointer and I'm going to try to illustrate everything I just showed you in the walkthrough.
And that was a fluorescent flag, and it didn't even show up hardly at all.
Where you're walking right there,
the
anomaly should be between those two trees right where you're at now. You actually go to the one on the right with the two trees in the background because it looks like a head back there even now.
Right.
I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I just want to make sure everybody realizes, you know, we kind of got off base here and we're going the wrong direction, but we're still in the area. And, you know, that's part of learning how to do this. It takes two people.
Well, that's why I got distracted because when I first rounded the corner, I expected to look right there where it was and see something, and I didn't. Right. So then I started looking around.
Okay, here you go. Look how far that dips.
Okay, so we come out here. This is the archway, the golden brown archway.
Where his pointer's pointing now is the anomaly. Right now.
There, yep.
And you're 6'4".
Yes.
Now you're standing right where we saw it. You're right there.
That's it.
That's the spot. Now let me show you guys something. This is the only thing that's throwing me now. Let me see if I can do this without screwing it up. I don't even know where I'm at. Oh, I got to go to StreamYard. Okay, I'm going to go to StreamYard. I'm going to go to brand. And I'm going to go to Brian's shot. Over his right shoulder, those two thick trees is where we're looking. Hang on.
Oh, no, that was the other one.
This one. Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
That is what's throwing me off because, dude, you're about... See those weird little highlight areas?
Yeah, like the little knobs or whatever those are.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like walrus eyes. Your head is at that level.
Right.
And you're 6'4". So let me see if I can go back to... Why is it having trouble toggling back and forth? I mean, I don't want to mess this up. Okay, did that go to the screen? No.
Nope, still same picture.
No, I got a headache.
I'm glad it's you working this.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I just got to click it off. So look at the two eyes on that fuzzy stump in front of the two trees where the anomaly is. And look where Brian's head is. It's actually below it, dude.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is if you had the camera about 5 feet to the right, those two trees would have opened up. But even right now, you can see there's nothing there. You can see a highlight all the way through it.
Right.
So let me go to one that's more target full frame. I knew I'd mess it up. Okay, there's without. There's without. Now, I don't know. My pointer's not pointing at it, but see, going from the left side of the frame, going to the biggest tree about 1/3 of the way in, there's a tree that starts about a 1/2 inch up or 1 inch up from the bottom. The biggest tree from the left. It's behind that tree and the tree behind it that's about 5 yards back. It's between those two trees. And I know that because the X on the base of that tree, there's two little branches making a little X. Has nothing to do with the X that I normally hunt. I'm not saying it's that kind of an X. It's just two fallen branches laying there making an X at the base of that tree on the left. Look straight up. There's the X. Look straight up. That's what's interesting to me. I don't know if low light, I mean, you know, that's part of the game. You got to go back when the lighting's a match. That's why people say that. So we get it. We get it. But, you know, it's the first time I've been a part of something like this. And it's still a learning tool because maybe someone will see this and say, hey, I remember CFB and Brian messed that up. You know, because they did this, this, and this, and this. We didn't have a good print. You were trying to go off the video on your iPhone, trying to line yourself up. I couldn't make it. I was working, so we got our balance a little bit off. But it's still pretty damn good on trying to figure out if this is something we're just missing.
Well, what perplexes me too is that whatever that is, whatever that silhouette is in front of that third tree, because the tree is coming out of his head. It's not hiding him. It's behind it. Well, him, I say him, it, whatever that shadow is, that silhouette.
Meaning the tree there, you can see all the way behind you now.
Right.
You can
just
see
like it's coming out of my head right now.
Okay, and then right now, you can see it coming out of this thing's head.
Right.
But where is Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's what I don't get either. I'm still leaning toward this is pareidolia. I really am. But I'm trying to illustrate how easily you can be tricked.
Right. And to put, you know, we're just putting it out there so we can get some ideas, you know, if anybody wants to take some pot shots at this and give us some ideas on what we could do differently, please. Because it's either something or it's nothing, but I'd like to know which one. And hopefully we can learn something.
Whatever this is blocking that tree.
Right.
It's flat out in front of the back tree. You are in front of the back tree, but you can see it start behind you.
Right.
And I will point out something. That thing making like it looks like the edge of a creature, a thing, a Bigfoot, plants, palms, I don't care what it is. That is not helping us either, because that is a vertical line coming through, which is almost creating a back and a back of a leg, you know, and a highlight.
Right.
And I can tell when my camera moves from parallax that vine, it's a vine. And as you move it right now, it's lined up to the back side of that, giving us a false reading. And I get that. I know this stuff when it comes to that. I just can't figure out that big of a shadow is all I'm saying. Okay. So this is really weird. I got 2 videos on the bottom and I can't tell where to go to let this finish. Let me, I think I got to take this one out. There you go. Take this one out. And I need to play. Is that the one? Yeah.
The sound is horrible because, to my surprise, I found out the microphone I had, the wireless mic to hook into my iPhone, would not fit through my case. And the case is extremely hard to remove. So I just decided I figured I'd do a voiceover if I had to.
Yeah, we can hear you. We'll just lay low. I'll try to turn it up. I don't even see you at this point.
I believe is the head. Rest of the leaves form the shoulders.
Yeah, I thought I was in frame pretty good, but obviously not.
It could also be back here, the lower one behind us.
But basically, I'm just out there, you know, kind of tracing the outline of that other head.
This might possibly
the wrong one, way to the right. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Didn't mean to do that.
If we could just figure out, you know, what this is, then hopefully in the future it'll save us a bunch of time as far as dismissing stuff that might pop up like this. That's one of my goals.
Again, these are the landmarks you need to look for if you're trying to zoom in on this. The archway right here. And then you've got the lichen on the tree. The other 2 palms, the palm tree forms your farthest border. There's a pine tree next to it. We know whatever's in the photo.
So again, he's pointing to the one to his right, or our screen right, and it's really the one right behind him between the 2 trees. So he's off by about 30 feet. He's pointing to it now. That's where it should be.
Where that curved branch is.
And he just went too far to the right. And you lose your perspective when you go off camera like that. You'd almost need to
give you guys a little bit of an idea of
line it up.
Of what may or may not have been seen in a lower light. Now I'm going to bring us in.
That's where you should be.
Right
there. Right there. Between those
sunlight
trees, right there on the left.
Bright.
It's open. And the whole tree is open to the ground. See that?
Yep.
That's what we
I see
needed
where
right there.
what
That's
it
our
is
still
that I
frame.
should be looking at, but I can't make it out because of the light.
It's clearly
Okay,
open.
I think. See if I can get the pointer out right there.
Okay, so we know this is wrong, so let's slide forward.
Right there is what we saw. But again, I'm going to try to adjust the exposure, but it's not working so well.
Jump
If
ahead.
this doesn't turn out to be definitive one way or the other, then I'll plan on coming back out here toward dusk, right before the park closing, when sunlight is not such an issue, and see what we get then. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so we'll go back here. I don't like that one. Okay. I thought that was a nice job. It'd be interesting to get Brent and Leon's take on that. I mean,
Yes.
The second, the third will be more polished, and I'm not busting on you. I can tell you right now, you did a better job than I would have done. I would have called the reservoir a mud puddle. Your vocabulary is up there. Sorry, I got to take a cough drop. No, we're trying. That's all it is. It's flat out just showing people what it's like to be out there. And I see the questions, Sandra. Thank you. I'll go back. Not only are we out there and we're looking, and this place specifically was a high target for me. It's where the whole quarter series, the rubber hits the road for me. That's why I'm not going to give the location. It's somewhere within the 56-mile corridor. To me, it's exactly where I thought it would start get interesting. And chapter 9 and 8, what we just finished, is where it gets interesting. I'm going to be more in the corridor now, more so than the Green Swamp for the remaining of the year. It's not that I'm not going to go to the Green Swamp because Ron's out there. So I'm still going to go hang with Ron and Max and whoever else comes down. We got an entourage coming down in February, March, and April again. So I'll be out in the Green Swamp. But right now, I'm fixated in a couple areas in the corridor, and it's not just one area. And that's what Brian and I are trying to tackle with the canoes, and trying to figure it out. Some of these places are preserves. They got gates. You got to be out by dusk. So there's a lot of factors on pre-planning on how you can do it, and I'm not going to talk about that. So there's a lot to that. Curious Cryptid, link to the channel. I didn't put it in there. I'm such a slug, Brian. I know you have one subscriber, and that's me. Because you have no content yet, and you're working on it.
Right.
You want to tell people the first video you told me on the canoe trip what you're going to work on?
Oh, yeah.
Without
I am a ordained minister, and when people start breaking down all this stuff about the Nephilim and all this, I have to watch my vocabulary here. This foolishness, how about that? Tomfoolery about the Nephilim and the angels and all that. Well, I'm almost finished with it. I'm gonna put out a video and explain according to the Bible. Let the Bible define the Bible, and put this whole thing to bed. Using the Bible to explain itself, and explain why angels are never considered the children of God. Angels are neither male nor female. They neither give or are given in marriage. So there's all this stuff, and that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as disproving these giants that were formed as a chimera, or whatever you want to call it, of between angels and human women. So it should be interesting. Some people may not be interested in it at all, but there's enough people that are touting that this is a real possibility that I think it needs to be addressed.
Right. And Brian, what is your channel? I know it's the swamp, but you had something behind it. It's not coming up.
Really? It's supposed to be the swamp.
I wonder if it's one word.
I don't know.
No, there is the swamp already.
No, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't see it. We're gonna have to put the link, guys. I will post it in the
in the description or something, because
in the description afterwards. I'm sorry about that. Okay,
that's strange.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's strange, because I was actually surprised when I got the name, because I figured it would be really common, and with the Gator fans and stuff, somebody would have it, but
yeah,
maybe so.
No, I wanted to show this one. Raptor, we discussed this. We know we screwed up. We discussed that fully, that we're off by the camera needs to be about 5 to 10 feet to the right. We addressed that up front, so I don't know if you popped in late. But the point is, at one point when he walks in, he gets it exactly right on the distance of the trees when he does a walk-in. And it's just scrub palm there, but nothing that would look like what we captured. That's what's weird. So, but thanks for the question. You're not being rude. There are no rude questions. We're here to.
No, I say bring it on. Let's hash this out and find out what's really going on.
I'm trying to find the questions that Sandra mentioned. I'm looking. Thanks, Wizard. We're getting there. We got a lot to learn. So,
thank you. Yes,
we're admitting it, and we're saying that it's going to get better. Here it is. Hike with Mike had 2 questions, so now I need to find Hike with Mike. Very interesting. That's not a question. I'm looking. Question. Was it a dry creek? That is why it was a dip.
No, it wasn't really a creek, but it's definitely a swamp area that I'm sure in the rainy season is pretty full.
Yes, I would say that would be a flooded swamp area. Wizard wants us to run it again. We will. Let me just find the other one. Did you hear any tree knocks? No,
I did not.
No, and what's weird, Mike, is that I've been doing this a little over 2 years now, okay? Take all of the animal tracks I've ever seen and all of those 2 years in my 300 videos, almost. Take every track I've ever seen. I saw more on this day in this area, which is an area I specifically found on Google Earth. It's an area I specifically targeted. I told everybody up front where I was going. The independent researchers I work with know what I'm looking at. I targeted it and went to it, and I'm excited about it. I think my journey, I'm either gonna, that's a bold statement to make. I'm either going to have something July 20 by 2024 or I'm not. But I can tell you July 2024, my birthday, and I retire will be the end of me doing probably this. I will be private. I will be hiking. I'll probably be going out with the same guys. but I'm not going to be focused on telling my journey because I figure I already told it. I said from day one, I'm not going to be a guy that goes out and has 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades under his belt looking for Bigfoot with nothing to show for it. So will I continue to look for Bigfoot? Yes, I'll continue to look for Bigfoot. But I'm not going to be here 10 years later, barking my truth, telling people what I think, because it doesn't matter. Because to me, after 3, 4, 5 years, you don't have anything, shut up. That's why I don't research the 4 horsemen. And I'm sorry, people get offended by that. But if you've been doing Bigfoot for 20, 30, 40 years, you're the last person I want to talk to. I don't want to be jaded. I don't want to have your thoughts in my head because it didn't pay dividends. And, you know, at some point, these people have to fess up to that and just admit it. So don't go out there and saying anybody's doing it wrong because nobody has done it right or proved to be doing it right. I don't know. What's your take, Brian? Am I just...
I think that was well said. No, I think that was well said. I mean, if...
I don't mean to be a jerk, but
well,
that's
obviously something as a whole, there's something, if this thing exists and if it is here, there's something as a whole we are doing wrong. Because we should be able to do, just like learning to hunt, you know, from your grandfather or whatever, you should be able to pick up tips and ideas and learn things that's going to increase your chances of encountering whatever it is you're looking for. Right. But for some reason, something, we're missing a puzzle piece here somewhere.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm giving it my best shot. And I'm not just out there on weekends getting in my car and going to a place with no rhyme or reason and hoping for chance. I have a strategy. I have a reason why I go. I can honestly say for the past 6 months, I haven't gone anywhere I didn't want to go and didn't have a reason to go. And what did I tell you when you decided to go with me on this trip? Did I have a mission planned? What was my mission? And I know you know it.
You're talking
about my main purpose?
The video?
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? 10 seconds, 15 seconds of clear video?
Right. But what was I specifically looking for? I thought we needed to find in that area to prove myself. We were looking for prints.
Okay.
And this was the only trip that my head was down more than it was up. Because at this point, I'm working a theory. I'm working what I think is going to be the area that something has to pass through if something is in Florida, if something in this area. Now, I understand we did this in January. I understand we would have to do this in February and do it in March and do it in April and, you know, all the way down the calendar year to find out. Just doing it in January and said there's nothing here and me quitting doesn't cover the calendar year because we don't know what's happening in this thing.
Right.
Or if anything's happening. But I go to places for a specific reason, and this one was for footprints. So what we ended up finding was this little anomaly happening, but we found more tracks than either of us have seen in a long, long time. It was in one point when I released a video, I said something like, I can almost envision an animal massacre happening right on this part of the trail. Remember?
Yeah.
Because it was just
like a crime scene. Yep.
Yeah, I said a crime scene. Like it was so many tracks, it was ridiculous. It was like I've never seen like 4 different sized deer steps on top of each other. Right?
And everything from a very large buck to the tiniest little fawn. I mean, I don't even know how it walked on hooves that small, but it was so cute to see those little tiny prints. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was like literally like the size of a small key.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, my finger. It was the size of a small key. It was crazy. But we're talking a wide range of animals, and it's also the place we saw 10 hogs at. 2 parents and then 8 little ones, and 2 of them were red. So anyway, that's what I'm working on now. Other than that, I think we pretty much ran 2. We ran 1. I'll run my original one again if I can find it. How did I load that up? It's a video? Can't remember. Did I load it up as a video?
I don't remember.
Oh, I tried to load up a video and I got an error. Oh, you're only allowed 200 megabytes. Okay, let me put this one in. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, this is it.
Yep.
No, because of no shadows. Here's the original video.
And you can see how overcast the sky is in the distance compared to the brightness that was
and so we were like running to get
blowing out my camera the second time.
And we got onto the main land again, and people were spraying.
I just saw something move. I just saw something move back there. I think it was like a fox or something.
Wow.
It was right by that dead log, just on the other side of that.
That's neat.
See that fallen log?
Yeah.
From here to that distance, same distance back. It went
Crazy
across,
thing is you're pointing right at it.
Yeah, I'm pointing right at it. And here's the thing too. I gotta say, you guys know I go out with a gentleman named Ron and Lori, and they are, in my book, the #1 Bigfooter on the planet. And I tell you that they're out there 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, until 2, 3 in the morning, sometimes all the way through the overnight. They're on bikes, they're walking, they're back on Jeeps. They're swinging in hammocks 3 miles out in the swamp. Like the one time I did in episode 7. It is crazy, and they're out there all the time. And when Ron saw this clip, he got really mad. He got mad at me. He goes, "What did I tell you? Why did you not go in then and check it out?" And what did I say when I saw this thing? It was down low, and I thought it was a fox. I'm not there to look for a fox.
Right.
I never even thought, if you had looked at me and said jokingly, "Well, Matt, what if it's a Bigfoot crawling?" I would have been in there in a heartbeat, because it never entered my mind.
I thought you would have told me to go back to the truck if I'd have said that.
No, I almost wish you had, because you and I throw out stuff. We've been out 3 times now.
Yep.
We say stuff like this all the time because I'm constantly edit, chop, stop, cut, because we can't use continuous 2 minutes at all because we're stomping on something. But I never even dreamt that, you hear stories of the crawl and then this thing would stand up. I'm not saying that's what happened. I just never even dreamed that this could have been a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot skunk ape on all 4s. And when it got clear, it stood up behind a tree. Never even crossed my mind, because I don't have Bigfoot on the brain. It's just in post editing is when I started getting Bigfoot on the brain, and it's embarrassing. But I'm showing this, Brian, and I asked you if you minded us showing this, because it's not picture perfect, but I think it's an education tool, and I like
do too.
And I thank you for allowing us to show it and share, because whenever you want to flip it live on your channel, I mean, I can show you how to make a category. It just says research unexplained, and you just tag your video as research unexplained. I can show you that tomorrow. I know I'm going up to your area and have lunch, because you're gonna download the disc and give it to me so I can see if I can work your analysis that we're doing live now into the video in some way at the end, or
right
wherever. I've just never been tripped up like this. And man, I hope I don't start jumping to conclusions on every little thing I do and start doing breakdowns, because I'm not that type of guy to want to do that. I'm only interested in 15 seconds of movement. And I want a good track in this area, because I want to see if I'm right in thinking what I'm thinking and why I'm thinking it. There's a strategy of why you and I are here. And there's a strategy of why you and I are going to be working this area with friends, with our other independent group, with different combinations in the future. You went out today in the area by yourself, or yesterday to do all this work. So that's great. And I just want to know, am I on to something? You know, because I just don't jump in the car and say, oh, I'm gonna go meet Ron today and go out here. Or, oh, Max is down, I'm gonna go meet Max and go here. I'm trying to figure this thing out, and I've given myself a timeline of a year, almost a little over a year from this point. And then I'm just gonna hopefully be quiet, shut up, because I'm no better than anybody else. I don't have anything. Or maybe I will. I don't know. But that's what we got tonight. I don't know what we missed, a whole 30 minutes.
Yeah, my whole thing is I want to figure this out, because, you know, win, lose, or draw, it's going to help us be able to rule out things in the future a lot quicker, I think, because of a process. We know we might develop a process to be able to either include or exclude things very quickly compared to what we're going through now.
Right. Curious Cryptid says, reviewing even my own video, I have found that if it is on the screen, I probably saw it clearly. If I saw it clearly and didn't notice it, it usually was not worth noticing.
Well, that makes sense.
And that's the definition of what happened here. But man, I swear I saw something. I mean, I never call out stuff like that. That's what threw me. Is I've called out wood knocks, I've called out howls, I've called out footsteps, but never did I say I saw something move and not at least have an idea what it was.
And that's what intrigued me enough to not just say, you know, it's just a shadow or a leaf. You know, it was worth investigating, because you were able to, you know, like you said, you saw movement, and then there was this anomaly right at the same spot.
Right. Oh wow, we got Hellbent Holler here tonight.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you guys. I'm not sure if that's Jesse or Joe. It might be Jesse. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yes. Good evening.
So anyway, you know, that's what we had. I mean, it was just one of those things where we called it out and it happened, and you went and tried to do a breakdown for us. And I think we've seen enough. I mean, one angle, I think we kind of got something, but still not good enough. So we move on.
Yeah, the only thing left would be you know, one more shot under different, you know, darker lighting conditions, and do I would like to get out and do a full semicircle around that area under a little bit darker conditions, and just see, you know, that way we've got every angle covered, and we can go through it, you know, frame by frame and look at it.
Yeah, let me run through the photos and see if I missed any right here real quick. So this was the original full frame target area.
Yep.
And I don't know if you can see it, like a white stick on the dark shadow area to the far right of the darkness, but right up at 11 o'clock is what we're looking at. There's a little figure between the two trees, dead center of the frame, dead center of the oval. Not dead center of the oval, but just off to the right.
And farther over to the right, you can see the little
even more farther,
shoulders.
Yeah.
That was turned out to be the palm leaf.
Right. I think what threw me on this one is I've always seen head, shoulders, and stuff like that, but I've never seen, you know, what looks like a full body, you know,
right,
embodiment there. And you and I know, and we already showed it in another video, that you can see the tree all the way down to the ground where that is at. And I have a hard time believing that is a shadow on an overcast day. There aren't many shadows, right?
Right.
There's shadows on the base of the scrap palms and stuff, but not anything that dark standing up in the woods. And that's what's thrown me.
And I honestly don't care what it is, if it's a bear or, like I said before, if it's a raccoon that's got his head peeking around the tree or whatever. I just want to know, you know, what it is, so that we can use that as a benchmark for things we might see in the future.
And there's when Brian went back to just see if anything was there. So we'll post Brian's info in the back, but his logo is going to be Swamp. The Swamp stands for Southeast Wood Ape Monitoring Project. So Brian and I met through this channel, through chat. I mean, he's been reaching out to me and a couple other people, and he mentioned he had a kayak or a canoe, that you had a canoe, and that I was interested in doing something one day where I needed a canoe partner, and that's how we first hooked up. So it wasn't my idea to portage the canoe in 1.5 miles. That was yours. So I could care less that if you hurt like hell, that was your fault, not mine.
It was one of my better days, you know, with my arthritis, but I paid for it, I have to admit.
Yeah, I took Max Powers out for a day one time about this time last year and almost killed him. I think we went. We started before sunup and got home for dinner.
Wow.
And that's a long day for Max.
Did you take a lunch at least?
I don't think we did. Matter of fact,
I was going to say, if you have to think about it, probably not.
I remember getting back to the car and said, man, I'm so glad to get back to the car because I didn't take any water. I didn't have water. Jesse knows this from Hellbent Holler. Sometimes you get so excited about the gear. Oh, I got my thermal, I got my night vision, you know, I got my Lumix, I got my iPhone, I got my GoPro, I got the mounts all over me. Weapon check, yeah, I got weapon, okay, I'm good to go. And then you water. So I get all the way back to the truck, I grab the water and I guzzled like 2. I mean, without even breathing. I took it to 24 ounces in like that. And Max goes, oh, you needed water? I had water in my back.
Oh.
So anyway, those were the photos. So that's what I had.
Well, I have to say, Matt, before I lose my train of thought, you were talking about how we met and stuff. One thing that really attracted me to your channel was the fresh idea you had about the whole corridor thing. And it's so simplistic and it makes so much sense that it was like, you know, it was like a forehead slapper. It's like, well, why hadn't anybody thought of that before? That corridor is specifically designed to allow animals to travel from the Everglades up to Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia without having to cross any major highways. So, you know, it only makes sense, but I've never heard anybody even consider it before.
Right. Sasquatch Wizard says, CFB, you first said you saw what appeared to be resembled a fox, meaning small and low to the ground. Yes, not that it looked like a fox. It was low, small, and low to the ground. Definite. That may be very close to what happened, and the fox left without a trace. So you may have seen it. You know, and I was going to point that out. And if I had more time for the show tonight, I was going to say, and I think Leon taught me this, whatever your first impression is, you know, he will talk to people that had an encounter and say, well, what did you think it was? You know, what did your gut tell you it was? And when Ron took me out in the swamp in episode 7 and tried to kill me, I mean, when we slept out in the swamp, and at 4:30 in the morning, I heard the blow. My first impression was, Ron, why is Ron out in the swamp blowing his nose? And it was a deer blow. So I'm usually pretty good with being relatively close. So I would agree with this comment that I did see a coyote, a fox of some sort. It wouldn't be the first time. I've seen them before. So I actually agree with that. It's just when I looked at where it stopped, it's just like a little freaky. But you know, you can, and I've already proven you can find pareidolia anywhere. You can find it anywhere, and I understand that too.
Well, and another consideration is one may not have anything to do with the other. You know,
Right. I think that's what. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse. We got 26 people here, so anything else? If anybody has anything I missed, can you just nicely put it in bold at the bottom again? Jesse or Joe, what I meant to, what happened was in the original video, I'll run it one more time. I'm walking with Brian down a trail, and we're trying to get to an area. This is not where we're trying to get. We're on an area that leads to somewhere far back, and this is the very beginning of it. Not far in, about 1.5 miles in. And I saw something move, and Brian was talking, and I waited for him to finish, and I said, I think I saw something move. But I did look over wearing a GoPro on my head, which I like doing. I like a stabilized. I'm using a GoPro 9 with the mod lens on it, which is super stable. So I looked over there and I said, wait a minute. If I saw it, it should be on film. It should be on tape. I can't find it. But it looked like something low, like a big dog, low to the ground, moving through the woods. It covered 30 feet in a second, maybe 2. And it was gone. And I look for it. I can't find it. And as I finish the video 10 hours later, I go back and start scrubbing through the footage trying to find this, which is when I was listening to my words describing where I saw it stop. And where I saw it stop turned out to be where the shadow is. Brian went and stood in the same place. He's 6'4". This thing had to at least be 8. Although we did say the mound of the tree went up a little bit. So easily 7, 7.5.
It appeared
Shadow.
that I would have been like
Shadow.
where what we're considering a shoulder would be about where my head was. Somewhere around there.
Your head was actually in its chest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you're standing there, you're way lower, dude. Because I didn't know it dropped like that. I didn't know you dropped off 3 feet. And if it was where you said it was, which we know it was, because that's where we're looking at a shadow, it's 2 feet higher. So you dropped 3.
Wow.
It went up 2. Shadow went up 2. You're 6'4". That makes 7'4". It looks even taller than that. So anyway. We're not vetting. We're just talking. It's an educational thing for us. I just wanted to know, you know, what was going on. If we're an hour and 17 minutes. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Brian, stay on. And I'm just gonna send out a couple of links to a couple of people I've seen in chat if they want to pop on and help us figure this out. If anybody else has any questions or ideas or bozo moments that we did, just other than not going toward it, but I'm not trying to capture a fox. I'm trying to capture a Bigfoot. So that's why I did not walk in. In the future, when I see something like that, this has taught me to move toward it. So I will. I'll definitely do that. So I'm going to end this, guys. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Brian, stay on.
Thanks, everybody.
And everybody else, hang on, because I'm going to send a couple of links out. And if you know me and you want to be on it, shoot me an email. I'll send you a link. That's it. Talk to you later, guys.
Good night, everybody.